Fortnite has been with us for a few years now, and over the course of those years, there have been a fair few conspiracy theories that have been created by fans of the game. Not all of these theories came true, but a few of them did. So in today's episode of The Countdown, we're looking at the 5 times Fortnite conspiracy theories were right. But hey, before Season 10 gets started, make sure you use our creator code ArcadeCloudPlays to stock up on V-Bucks for the new Battle Pass. It really helps our channel out and keeps us creating. Number 5. Dimension Rifts. At the end of Season 4, a rocket launched from an evil villain's base near Snobby Shores. It flew all over the map, teleporting from location to location through strange rifts that it created, before finally blasting away from the map and creating one final gigantic rift in the sky. Shortly after this rift appeared in the sky, the biggest Fortnite marketing campaign of all time had begun in the form of a worldwide ARG. Now, for those of you who don't know, the term ARG means alternate reality game. In the case of Fortnite, that meant the introduction of items from the Fortnite world into the real world. A bunch of rifts opened up across the Fortnite map, scooping up items from Fortnite up. On the 6th of July 2018, a Twitter account tweeted out that they had found a giant Durr Burger in the desert of California, as well as a Fortnite-styled police car. Shortly after, some actors showed up, pretending to be secret agents and scientists researching the site. A couple days later, loot llamas began to appear all over Europe, stretching from London, England to Barcelona in Spain, Warsaw in Poland, Cologne in Germany, and even Cannes and Paris in France. The rifts had scattered these items across the entire planet with reckless abandon, and logically there was only one thing that could happen next. The theory was that, following items from the world of Fortnite entering the real world, parts of the real world would enter the world of Fortnite. The next season's theme was all about parts of history being ripped out of time and sent to the Fortnite island, from Easter Island skulls to carriages and even an entire Viking village. The level 1 skin that you unlocked in the Battle Pass, named Drift, was even someone who had seemingly been taken from our Earth. Number 4. The fate of the Fortnite Nights. Fortnite has been out for a while now, and in that time the map has changed quite a bit. And according to this conspiracy, those map changes have all been planned right from the very beginning. Epic Games has always done a good job at keeping the Fortnite map fresh. From adding new points of interest to entirely new biomes, the team has never been shy of shaking things up. But the Reddit user 984werp believed before anyone else that there was a secret way of knowing what areas the Epic Games team were going to change, and it all revolved around the Knights outfits that have been added into the game all the way back in Season 2. The Blue Squire was earned at Tier 1 of the Battle Pass, the Royal Knight at Tier 21, and the Black Knight at the final Tier 70. The only knight that was available for purchase was the Red Knight. His logic was pretty well thought out. In each of the knight's skin descriptions, there was a location. The Blue Squire was the bold warrior of Moisty Mire, but Moisty was erased by dimensional rifts and turned into a giant sprawling desert. The Royal Knight was the dauntless champion of Tomato Town, until Tomato Town was ripped out of existence and replaced by Tomato Temple. The Red Knight was the menace of Anarchy Acres, until Anarchy Acres was replaced by a leisurely golfing resort. At the time the conspiracy theory was made, there was only one more knight left, the Black Knight. He was the odious scourge of the Wailing Woods, and when this conspiracy theory was first spoken about, Wailing Woods was the only location that had an associated knight that was yet to be changed. But that changed pretty quickly as a volcano rose up from under the ground to wipe the Wailing Woods right off the map. The conspiracy theory had been right. The clues to the map changes had been there all along. Number 3. The Fortnite Monster. One of the most awesome and cinematic events in the history of Fortnite Battle Royale has just happened. The epic battle between a giant monster and a mecha robot that was built solely to defeat it. But this showdown had been alluded to long before, and while some people believe that the first signs of a monster on the island of Fortnite were the eggs or giant eye in Polar Peak, there had been hints long before that. The first hint of a potentially monstrous presence around the Fortnite island came way back in Season 4. In that season, a house near Snobby Shores was completely destroyed, leaving a giant footprint in the dirt. At the time, we all thought that this was probably just due to the movie that was being filmed in Moisty Mire, but the idea of a giant monster on the Fortnite island preserved. It wasn't until the latest season that more monstrous events began to happen. The first hint in Season 9 that a monster was once again present on the island was the giant eyeball that was spotted beneath Polar Peak. Obviously, speculation about what was going on started up immediately, with plenty of different ideas about what the monster may be. Some even thought that the monster was going to be Godzilla, in some sort of preparation for the new movie. Eventually, the monster escaped from its icy prison, which prompted the construction of a giant robot at the pressure plant. The fight between the two was inevitable and pretty epic. But some of us remember the classic conspiracy theories surrounding the Leviathan limited time mode back from Season 4, which was a supposedly leaked limited time mode that would see one team control a giant monster that would need to traverse from one side of the map to the other. It didn't exactly happen that way, but I would argue the fight between the mecha and the monster was probably even cooler, and it was a great payoff for something that originated so long ago. Number 2. The Volcano. This conspiracy theory was around in the days when the cube was still rolling its way around the Fortnite map, burning runes into the ground as it went. Its final destination was destined to be Loot Lake, where it was expected to turn on and majorly change the Fortnite map. At the time, everyone thought that this was going to lead to the creation of a giant magma-filled volcano in Loot Lake itself. This conspiracy theory was kickstarted by two separate things. The first was some leaked audio files that were found after the 5.40 update. They were marked as flowing lava, which is obviously a pretty big hint toward a volcano. The second was the strange pyramid-like shape that people thought they could see below Loot Lake, which would imply something was below the lake waiting to emerge. The theory at the time was that the volcano would emerge after the cube reached Loot Lake, but it didn't. That didn't mean a volcano wasn't on the way though. This conspiracy theory would eventually have its day, when Wailing Woods was turned into a volcano instead. Replacing the woods was a thick and dense jungle, filled with bananas and coconuts. It was also said to be the biggest climbable area on the entire map, and seemed to be the rival of Polar Peak. By Season 9, the government had rolled in and converted the area into a giant pressure plant, which is probably a good thing considering that the pressure plant served as a staging ground for the giant robot that was yet to be built. It's uncertain why the lava sound files were put into the game so early, but it spawned a conspiracy theory that would eventually be proven correct with the emergence of the volcano in Season 8. Number 1. Destroying Tilted. Tilted Towers was a point of interest added to the Fortnite map in January 2018 on patch 2.2. This was the first proper large city that the game had ever seen. The loot density from its skyscrapers was deemed as a massive outlier imbalanced by many Fortnite players, and they wanted it to be destroyed. And that started the great conspiracy theory of the destruction of Fortnite. You know all those crazy doomsday guys who keep saying that the world is going to come to an end every couple of years? Well, the story of the destruction of Tilted Towers is a little bit like that. In Season 3, we had the meteor. Everyone thought that it was going to destroy Tilted Towers because of the telescopes that had been placed on top of a mountain that seemed to be pointing toward Tilted. Later on, a small campsite appeared on the rooftop in Tilted Towers, furthering the conspiracy theory. In the end, that meteor actually ended up landing on Dusty Divot. Tilted had been hit by a couple of shards of the meteor, but the majority of the buildings were still standing. The building that was totally destroyed by the meteor event would go on to have a pretty troubled future. In Season 4, the crater was patched over and a new building began to take form. It was eventually finished weeks later in Season 5, only to once again be destroyed as the cube rolled straight over it, just after it had been reopened. In Season 6, the remains of what had been a sporting goods shop was completely demolished and cleared away, so that the building could be constructed once again throughout Season 7. But eventually the building turned out to be a news studio. The news studio lasted for a month, and was then destroyed by the earthquake. In Season 8, once again, construction on a new building had begun. The conspiracy and hopes surrounding the destruction of Tilted destruction persisted until the Nexus Volcano event in Season 8. The volcano erupted, shooting out massive rocks into the sky. A bunch of those rocks landed right on Tilted Towers, completely obliterating it once and for all. Until it came back in Season 9 as Neo-Tilted, of course. Well, that's a wrap on our video covering the 5 times Fortnite conspiracy theories were right. Did you believe in any of these theories? Did you have a theory of your own that came true? As always, if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for even more awesome gaming content. And again, make sure to use our supporter creator code before picking up V-Bucks for that sweet new battle pass. Just enter Arcade Cloud Plays next time you're in the item shop. Seriously, it helps out so much, so thanks in advance. Thanks guys, then I'll see you on the next one.